In front of the government building, we see many protesters and demonstrators, who gathered here to protest against their corrupt governor Sandro Coria. There is an allegation on the governor, that he is a corrupt leader and he has stolen a lot of public money. The people present here throw their things, and stones on the building, seeing which, the governor hides under a table, but only then the masked man arrives who finds her. After this, we are shown a scene from a few days ago. Here we see some officers of DAE who were getting ready for their mission. They come near a building, where a man was drinking his coffee. This man is Governor Sandro. Officers arrest the governor, and then bring him to their head office for interrogation. To interrogate the governor, DAE officers Edu and Miguel take him to the interrogation room. In the interrogation room, they told him that they had gotten evidence of his corruption and embezzlement of public money. The governor threatens them, that he will not stop killing anyone who tries to expose his corruption or crimes. He even tries to bribe the officer to get free from the charges. After some time, when the governor was having a lavish lunch, his lawyer arrived there. He talked about his contacts in the prosecutor's office. Lawyer assured him of his release from custody in a short while. He told him he might be put on house arrest during the investigation. In the meantime, in the DAE head office, their commander holds a small meeting, and tells them that the evidence related to Governor Coria's embezzlement of the health budget is insufficient. So, he decided to allow him to go home and be placed under house arrest. After that, Miguel and his friend come out of the office. Miguel goes to see his daughter, who is standing with her mother on the road, and waiting for her father. Miguel arrives there with a t-shirt present for his daughter. She gets excited. He helps her wear her shirt, while her mother takes pictures. After that, Miguel takes her in a taxi. They get out of the car seeing the traffic block. When they were walking on the road to the stadium, his daughter got a blind shot from somewhere. She started bleeding. Seeing this, Miguel quickly picks up his daughter and brings her to the hospital for immediate medical treatment. When they reached the hospital, the doctors immediately took Miguel's daughter Alice to the emergency room and asked Miguel to wait outside. Miguel waits there impatiently, and then he gets in. Miguel sees a lot of serious patients here, who were lying unattended in the corridors of the hospital. He was shocked to see these patients and the conditions of the poor hospital facilities. At that moment, he found his daughter Alice lying motionless in front of the operating room. When he asks the doctor why they didn't take him to the operation room, the doctor tells him that the hospital didn't have many operating facilities, so many patients had to wait for their turns. Due to excessive bleeding and delayed treatment, Alice's pulse slowly stopped, and she died. After some time, Miguel's ex-wife and Alice's mother arrived at the hospital, and she was shocked to find that her little daughter was dead. After this we see the governor, who has got bail and he was released from custody, because there was no evidence against him. In the next scene, governor goes to Mike, and announces running the election for the president. Here he pledges to increase the budget for the health sector and public hospitals, and he also promised to improve the welfare of the people. On the other side, Miguel was jogging on the road, and thinking about his daughter. He thinks that inadequate hospital facilities caused his daughter's death. Miguel thinks that his daughter could have been saved if the health sector had enough hospital facilities and equipment. He thinks that patients should not be neglected and ignored. While jogging, he comes to a shop on the road, and watches the news. It is reported in the news that Governor Coria has been released from prison, and he was found not guilty of any corruption and embezzlement of health funds. Seeing this news, Miguel got more furious and frustrated over the system. Crowd of protesters at that government building, and attack the police officers in anger. Police use tear gas on public. Luckily a gas mask falls in front of Miguel, and he immediately picks it up and puts it on. As we know, Miguel was a trained special forces man. He overcame many police officers who were guarding the building. He climbs the building and enters inside. Here he kills all the bodyguards of the governor one by one, and then goes to the room where the governor was hiding. He punches the governor continuously, which results in his killing. The next day, Miguel returns to work, and the chief at the head office asks Miguel and other DAE members to investigate protesters that occurred during the demonstration. He tells them that the investigative team managed to arrest several suspects, who were suspected of being the masterminds of the protest. Miguel knew one of the women among the suspects. Miguel met this woman at the protest, where he was beating the police officers. Miguel interrogates the woman in the room. She tells that my name is Nina, and I am a programmer. Nina also tells him that she knows Miguel as the one who attacked the police, then says that she has a recording of Miguel's actions on her cell phone. Hearing this, Miguel quickly enters the evidence room, and starts looking for Nina's phone. He found her right. She leaves Miguel choiceless, so ultimately, he frees her. At night, after analyzing the video and events at his apartment, Miguel finds the address of Nina's apartment and goes there. He found her walking on the road, Nina shows him the laptop of Governor Coria, and offers to help Miguel investigate a case of embezzlement of medical funds and hospital equipment. At this moment, Miguel thinks that Coria cannot do all these things alone. Nina hacked into Coria's laptop, after which, Miguel found important information about the people involved in the embezzlement case. She shows him the profiles of politicians who were involved in this corruption. After this, Miguel then prepared himself, and targeted one by one the corrupt officials and politicians, who were also responsible for the embezzlement and corruption in the health department. Miguel kills them all while wearing the same mask as his disguise. The news of the successive killings of politicians was spread all over. After that, Miguel went to Nina at her workplace, and asked her to find the sponsors who had been funding the campaigns of these corrupt officials. But Nina refuses to do so. But Miguel offers to reduce the sentence for Nina's mother, who was in prison. After some time, Nina visits her mother, and questions the value of truth. Her mother replies that the truth is just an illusion, because the truth for one person is not the same according to another person. In the next scene, Nina finds the profiles of the sponsors of those corrupt politicians, who are none other than Gomez. Nina takes control of the surveillance camera system in a building, where Gomez is coming to meet Minister Regina. While in the head office, Edu was going through the suspect's files on the day of the governor's death. He finds Nina's profile. He found out the masked man's next target, the Awakener, which was none other than Minister Marta Regina. Edu calls Miguel to inform him of this, but Miguel doesn't pick up the phone, so he leaves alone, and moves towards the minister's building. Coming here, he sees that masked man. Edu chases him and shoots at him, but Miguel escapes from here, and comes straight to Nina, because he was shot. Nina treats his wound. The next day, Miguel and Edu presented their reports, that Minister Regina had collaborated with Antero Gomez. Gomez was the person who had funded the campaign of these corrupt officials. Miguel and Edu decided to investigate Minister Regina, but their chief rejected all the investigation results. The man also said that they should stop the investigation on Minister Regina. Miguel is annoyed with this decision, then decides to execute Gomez with his own hands. After some time, he reached Gomez's residence. He was seen having dinner with several other officials. Gomez's son was there too, meeting his mother and asking that he was not ready to become a president. Gomez comes here, and tries to persuade his son. However, Miguel deliberately shoots Gomez's son to make the man learn and admit his guilt, but Gomez used his son's death to gain public sympathy, and nominate himself as the new presidential candidate. Meanwhile, a mysterious man in a car comes out to be a private spy of Antero Gomez, who was investigating the deaths of his colleagues. His name was Siqueira. Gomez has hired him personally to investigate the murders. He found out that the killer had a partner, and his calculations lead him to Nina's boss being the Awakener's partner. He eventually killed that man. After this, when Nina comes here, she finds her boss dead here. Seeing this, she gets scared, and starts running from here. She runs straight to the place where Miguel lives. Seeing this, Siqueira follows him with his men. When she reaches there, then Siqueira also reaches there with his men. They immediately attack Miguel's base, Miguel covering Nina in the firing, and tells her to run away from this place. In the next scene, Miguel puts on his mask and starts killing the followers. When he was fighting one of Siqueira's men, only then Siqueira takes Nina as a hostage. He offered Miguel a deal to save Nina's life. Siqueira ordered Miguel to kill another presidential candidate, Julia Machado. Miguel has no other way, so he obeys her. After some time, the police came to Miguel's place. Edu along with his team searches the place where the Awakener was hiding. Edu got more surprised when he knew the identity of the Awakener, who was none other than his best friend and colleague Miguel. After knowing that, Edu investigates the place and learns that Awakener's next target is Gomez. Edu and his team rush to the location of the presidential candidate debate. There Miguel also heads to kill Julia. Arriving at the debate location, Miguel was preparing to kill Julia. But then here Edu comes, and stops him from doing so. Both of them get into a fierce fight. Edu tells Miguel to stop all his actions, but he does not listen to him and continues. He didn't care about his talks. On the other hand, Nina, who was being held captive by Siqueira, fought back until she managed to injure Siqueira seriously. Later, Miguel is arrested for the murder of corrupt officials. Edu then brought Miguel's ex-wife, hoping that she could persuade Miguel. His ex-wife said that their daughter would be very embarrassed to learn of Miguel's current acts of vigilantism, and would not feel proud of her father. Inside the prison, Miguel learns that Antero Gomez won the elections. After this, a man comes inside the cell to interrogate Miguel. He was one of Miguel's superiors, Deputy Diaz, who tried to kill Miguel. But Miguel kills the man and escapes from here. After escaping prison, Miguel prepares his weapons and ammunition, and rushes to the Parliament building, where Gomez and his fellow politicians are celebrating the victory of Gomez, who had managed to beat Julia in the results. Miguel attacks the Parliament House without delay, and killing Gomez's men as well as all of his colleagues. When he finally confronts Gomez in his office, he tells Miguel that corruption will not disappear from the world, because greed is a basic human trait. On hearing this, Miguel shot Gomez to death. After killing Gomez, Miguel was surrounded by Gomez's men at gunpoint, but Miguel had another plan, in which he had already prepared a bomb, and planted it in his car. Miguel pressed the bomb detonator, and there's a huge explosion in the building, and everyone is sinking into the ground, including Miguel. The next day, when the rescuers, police, and forensics team arrive at the crime scene, they only find the mask of the Awakener, but do not find Miguel's body. In the last scene of the movie, we see Awakener taking aim at his next target from the roof of the building.